In this final installment, we talk about Japanese games and much, much more.
Oh yeah!
Alright, so I'm filming this a little bit differently, and that's because I don't want it to seem like I'm talking at you. I want it to seem like I'm talking with you, because whenever I have my friends over and we play Japanese video games, I feel like I have a better conversation with them just chatting. I don't give them a lot of information, I just, you know, chat. So that's how I want this to be, like I'm just chatting with you in your living room. Hey, how's it going? Nice place you got here. So let's start. I'm going to go over several of the places that I actually buy my video games from when I actually buy my Japanese video games, and these are all places that I trust. I wouldn't be telling you these places if I didn't trust them. And then I'm going to go into a little bit on how to do some importing, because starting off at importing games, there's tricks to it. So let's go right into the places. Now, first off the bat is not really number one, because I'm not doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of thing, but it is the place that I check the most, and that's JapanGamestock.com. Now, I've been buying from these people for years and years and years, and they always have a great selection of games. They always have a great selection of accessories for decent prices, and they have great shipping costs. They also have a deal where if you buy so many of a specific game, then you get a free one. So like if you buy Famicom games, 3 Famicom games not in box, you get a 4th one free. Same thing with Super Famicom. There's a lot of deals to be had on their site. Their site is very well organized. You can find things very, very easily. Some of the stuff is a little misspelled sometimes, so if you can't find it with the correct spelling, English isn't their first language, so please forgive them for that. But I always find great deals from them. In fact, one of the best deals I ever got was I had been buying from them for several months, years ago, and I asked them if they could find Umihara Kawase. And they found me a copy for $30. Don't expect that from them right off the bat. Get a little rapport with them, let them know that you're a serious collector and stuff. And, you know, sometimes they'll look for things for you. And it's really a great deal. JapanGamestock.com, number one on my list. Even though I'm not doing a list. They're still number one. Now that was for used games. My new game place that I go to all the time is PlayAsia, PlayAsia.com. It's a fantastic site, and the games are a little bit more expensive, but they're not as expensive as you would find in several other places, actually. They do give you a fairly decent deal, and their shipping is top-notch. It's fast shipping. They give you several different shipping options for if you don't have a lot of money and if you just really want the game like yesterday. If a game is brand new and you pre-order it, sometimes they'll ship the game early and it'll actually arrive the day before it's due to come out. Sometimes it will arrive the day after it's supposed to come out. But, you know, that's depends on the shipping in your area. But I've been surprised more often than not and gotten the game ahead of schedule. So it's a lot of fun, and PlayAsia.com, it's a great site. Please go to them. I have a link, and all the links will be below. But yeah, PlayAsia. Now the next site is called Game of Japan or Hit Japan, and I say those two because one's an eBay store and one's their actual website. Hit Japan and Game of Japan. Fantastic deals can actually be found here. Some screaming deals. Many of their buy it nows actually even go on sale. They have a discount price for a couple of days. So check out their eBay store too, because sometimes you can find things for an amazing price and you didn't expect it. They have lots of rare things. Most of their stuff is going to be used, but totally buy from them. Communication is a little slow, but that's okay because their stuff is good quality. They always send it to you very clean. Another place that you can get amazing deals at is Yamatoku. Yamatoku is an eBay site that I often go to, and what Yamatoku does is that they start off most of their auctions at 1 penny. So if you are very lucky, you can find amazing deals on Japanese games for 1 penny. And they will combine their shipping, and they will allow you to hold items once you've won them for up to 14 days. So if you've won an item and all of a sudden a new auction comes up that you really want to see if that finishes, and then maybe another one pops up a couple of days later, you can hold that first item for up to 14 days until those auctions finish. And then they combine shipping. All you have to do is send a request to combine shipping, and they'll send you a total. They ship very quickly. Their turnaround is very fast. Unless there's some events going on in Japan or something, then things slow down. They do have a website. I've never bought from the website, as it just doesn't look like they use their website too much. Go to the eBay site, and this is a place that I trust, and I've bought, once again, I've bought stuff from them for years and years and years, so I totally trust them. Yamatoku, good stuff. Starland is another place. Now, I went with the Game Chasers and several other people from RetroWare this past MagFest, and they do have an online site, but we went to the actual store in DC, and it was amazing. It doesn't look like, well, you can find out more from the Game Chasers website, from their MagFest videos, but yeah, they have very good deals on things. Now, a lot of their Japanese games are just without any type of information. These guys don't deal just in Japanese games. It's kind of a side project, so they might not know everything about the game itself. But they have very comparable prices, a very clean store, and all their games are in very good condition. And yeah, go check them out. eStarland.com. The next place that I want to talk about is JewWario. That's how I pronounce it. It's another eBay site, and they have very good deals as well. These are some of the best sellers on eBay, in my opinion, next to Yamatoku. They are a smaller group than Yamatoku, but they have amazing deals. They have some great rare peripherals, you can find some great rare games, and the prices aren't going to kill your pocketbook. And also, with combined shipping, this is a must check out site. So JewWario, I don't know if it's an acronym for something, but there you go. Check them out. The last place is some place that I'm mentioning only because I just came back from Con Bravo, and I bought from the place that they had set up in the dealer's room, and they have some remarkable prices. And one of my friends who also lives in Canada, yeah, he buys from them all the time as well. And you know, a lot of their stuff is very clean. Some of it still needs to be cleaned up, but all of their stuff is very nice because the people who run this store are also collectors, and they just want to give you a good deal. The prices are amazing, and so definitely check them out and check out their website as well. All that information is down below. Samurai.
I know, only English. Okay, welcome to Samurai Tensho Import Store. You like gamble? You like muscle? How about Pachisro Hookdogen Special Edition? 1990X! Vegas meets post-apocalyptic Japan in a slot machine! Real-world simulation mode! You are slots! So, What do you say? Gamble, double or nothing. Better luck next time. See you, Samurai customer. Samurai Tencho.
Now this next part here is why I've set the camera up just like this. I'm going to try and do this all in one take if I can. You'll probably see some cuts between it, but this is going to go into some tricks and tips on import gaming. Now, one of the big tricks that I want to talk about is actually map making and taking notes. Go to Walgreens, buy yourself a notebook, and as you play games, write down the characters that you see. Try things out. Does this one mean that I attack? Does this symbol mean yes? Does this symbol mean no? And write them down. Even if you can't write Japanese, you can draw a circle, you can draw a straight line. You can try and, fake it, as best as you can. Take notes, write down what you discover that they are, because a lot of this importing thing is just discovering new things and discovering how something works. People ask me all the time how fluent you are in Japanese. I'm actually not that fluent in Japanese at all. So when I tell you that you can play these games, I mean it, because I have to discover things. If you even go to gamefacts.com, write down the notes that they have there. Figure things out on your own. Use your common sense to try and figure things out. If you're playing an RPG game that you've played maybe one or two of the iterations here in America and you're playing a Japanese version of it, remember what they were. Oh, fight's usually at the top, isn't it? And then maybe spells afterwards, maybe items after that. So try and look, and does it send you to a place where you have spells? Well, then those are probably the spells then, aren't they? As for playing games in other versions, sometimes there are translated versions that you can play. Now, a lot of people don't like to play these on their computer. They want to play games on the systems that they came out for. And so I've gotten actually a lot of reproduction carts. I'm not going to talk about legality about carts that are reproduction. I just know I like them. And there's a place that I get them from called NES Reproductions. I've been getting them from him for several years, almost since I've been doing this video series. And he does a great job. The carts are clean. The carts look good. Heck, yeah, you can see the Earthbound that I got here. I chose this label. There are other labels that you can choose. They play extremely well. All you have to do is get a donor cart, and you send it to him, and then he sends you back the game that you're looking for. And this is just another way to play it. Now, I'm plugging him because he's the place I trust. I've been buying from him for years. And so I would highly suggest nesreproductions.com. Good stuff. And reproductions are a good way to play games that you normally wouldn't be able to. Now let's talk about storage. You've got Famicom carts. You're buying all these Famicom carts. How do you store them? One way is to actually buy a cassette tape holder. Now, in the 70s and 80s, cassette tapes were the way to listen to music before compact discs came out. And a lot of these holders to hold these cassette tapes are being unused now. And you can find them for super cheap at Goodwill and stuff. I buy some wooden cases that actually hold 100 games at a time. And although some Famicom carts are longer than regular ones, they still fit inside of the cassette tape holders, so it's totally simple to store your Famicom carts that way. And yeah, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg. As for ROMs, for the past 5 years, I've been kind of pussyfooting around how to tell you my opinion of ROMs. I'm just now going to say it. This is my opinion of ROMs. I have no problems with ROMs and emulators. I honestly don't. As long as, caveat, it's a system that isn't being produced now or hasn't been for several years. I still like the idea of playing a game on the system that it's meant for. Play NES carts on, buy the NES cart. But some games are just way too expensive. For any reason whatsoever, prices have gone up for the cart, and it might be hard to find that specific game, but you want to play it. Well, having a game that came out for $50 now cost over $300 for you to play, that's nonsense. And so I have no problems with you emulating that. I have no problems with ROMs. But if a game's like way too expensive or something and you just can't afford it, emulate it or buy a reproduction card of it. There's ways around it that you don't have to be a pirate because you don't want to spend $50. You don't want to give that to Best Buy. Yar. You just don't want to pay exorbitant amounts for a used game because it didn't come out that way. And you just want to play the game. Buy them if they come out on the Wii, Wii U, Virtual Console. Buy them that way. But, if it's just not going to come out, if it's not going to be playable, please do it. And you also get some translations too, some English patches that people work on. I'm totally up for that. That's how I played Mother 3. Mother 3 is an amazing game, and I would encourage all of you to try and find an emulator, get the patch and the ROM somehow, fold them together, and play Mother 3. So there's things about that. Lastly, when it comes to shipping from wherever you buy from, especially eBay stores, you'll notice that sometimes they'll have SAL and EMS shipping. EMS is really fast, but it can be very expensive. At the moment, you'll usually find EMS shipping for about $13 to $16 for something about the size of 2 CDs. That's going to be average. If you find anybody online who's charging you more than that, don't buy from them. Really, just don't. They're in it to just try and screw you for the shipping. Just don't worry about it. Always ask to see if they will combine shipping. That's important. If they don't combine shipping, don't buy from them. And just because something on eBay at this one Japanese store is super cheap, if you go to a store that's in the US that has something that's a lot more expensive than it, check the price. So make sure that you look at the shipping costs, add it into the item, and then look at the store here in the States and see if it's comparable. Because if it's only a couple extra bucks, spend your money at a US place and do that. Also tell them, hey, I can find this online for about $5 cheaper. Could you come down on the price? Always be willing to talk to them. Always be willing to set up a conversation with them. Don't try and gouge them, but don't let them gouge you either. The places that I have mentioned previously are all good places. They're going to give you a decent price. I've never tried haggling with them, but then again, I don't find their prices too expensive, so I've never had to have a reason to, especially Yamatoku starting off at a penny. But always feel like you can talk to these guys, because the worst that they can say is no. Importing video games is such an enjoyable hobby for me. I've been doing this since the early 1990s, and you get to play games that never came out in the US. You get to see games before they get translated. There's so many reasons why people can find happiness out of importing games, and I hope that over the past 5 years and umpteen videos that I've made, that I've shown you a little bit of my passion for import gaming, and I hope that some of it has rubbed off on some of you. I know that I get emails all the time and tweets from people who want to thank me for turning them on to a specific game or turning them on to a specific genre. Telling me about games that they've played and that they would suggest that even though it has a lot of text, you don't need to know Japanese to play, that they played it just fine and they had a great time. And so it's really a lot of fun to know that. So I hope that through all these videos that I've made, that you found a love for this hobby as I have.
You think that you can play this?